tonight, Suella Braverman, she is in trouble again. When is she not? You know what? Some people just despise Suella Braverman. I mean, she could come out with the most wonderful, kind sentiment, and people would still hate the sentiment because it's from Suella Braverman. Anyway, she's talking out now and saying that many rough sleepers who bed down on the streets using tents and all the rest of it essentially are making a lifestyle choice. She wants to propose new laws, basically, that would make aggressive begging, drug taking and the like illegal. What do you think to this issue about whether or not people are choosing on occasions to sleep in tents on the streets, lifestyle choice?
Well, I mean, you have to distinguish those people from other people who have no option or are unable to find their way into accommodation. But, you know, again, I come back to something much more fundamental than the issue at hand, which is, you know, tents being banned on the streets, which, by the way, I support. But the more fundamental...
You support the tents being banned on the street?
I support that, yeah, I support Suella Braverman's effort to take tents off the street. What we don't want in society...
That law already exists, though, Ben. Councils have had, since at least 10 years, if not longer, the ability under public space protection orders, they have the ability and the powers to remove tents. There are also powers for local authorities on aggressive begging. So why is she coming up with something that she thinks is new? She makes Priti Patel look like Mary Poppins. She is so vile and unkind and spiteful.
I don't think so, Jo. I mean, I think that it's easy to brand her as that, but for so long, a lot of these issues haven't, you know, mainstream politicians and particularly ministers and so on, and parliamentarians haven't been prepared to debate these sensitive issues. And what Suella Braverman is doing, and I applaud her for it, is putting up these issues to be debated so that there is an honest assessment about what we, generally the people of the United Kingdom, are feeling. And what we don't want, I was going to make a slightly broader point than the one on tents, which is that we've clearly got a kind of broken society at the moment. We're going to talk about feral children, as you mentioned, Michelle. And this is symptomatic of the breakdown in our society. There's no reason a country as rich as the United Kingdom should have anyone sleeping rough. But here we are as a country spending $4 billion a year housing people who've entered the country illegally, who have no right to be here, and yet we're not looking after the working and middle classes of our own country. We're not educating our children adequately, providing them the skills that they need in order to get on in life, and we're creating our own underclass whom we're turning our back on. And we need to have joined-up thinking across all these policy areas.
But you're not going to get joined-up thinking if you've got a senior government minister, the Home Secretary, coming out with stuff that is just headline-grabbing without saying, I'm calling on local authorities to use the powers they've got to enforce this. Instead of coming out and making out she's got some new idea, there is a...
But she's going to fine them. She's going to fine them for handing out tents.
She's going to fine charities. What is the point in fining a charity that is dependent on the goodwill of the good people of this country to support these initiatives? And the idea that, you know, in the middle of the winter, with pouring rain, freezing cold, that anybody would make a lifestyle choice to sleep in the cold with no access to clean clothes, dry clothes, toilets, bathrooms, or regular meals, or money. It is absolutely appalling. And why Rishi Sunak keeps her in government, other than to use her as some sort of human shield, I've got no idea. There's a conference on right now, today, and 119 local authorities have written to the government, and they are councils of all political colours, asking for more help because of the cuts to their funding from central government to help with temporary accommodation and homelessness.
But this is the other side of the same coin, Jo, isn't it? Everything is looked through the prism of government spending. The need for government to do something to support these people. The need for government... What the government needs to do is create an environment in the United Kingdom where people can get the skills they need to get a job, where people are incentivised to work rather than take benefits. We're going to talk about benefits later as well. Yeah. Where there isn't a need to import immigrants from abroad in order to do the jobs that the Brits aren't doing, because the Brits are incentivised and educated and upskilled enough to do them, including working in hospitals and so on. I'm digressing slightly, but I'm trying to join the dots, Joe. We're not joining the dots in policy making in this country.
No, we're absolutely not. We're not joining the dots between social services, between housing, between environment, between
and taxation policy.
And all of those things. We're not joining the dots between cutting funding to local authorities, cutting funding to councils, cutting funding that was in place to help with homeless shelters. And why does she have to use the language that she does, which is so offensive?
Yeah, but she's getting it on the map.
No, she's not.
And we're having a debate. You and I are having an honest debate about it only because of what she said.
But I bet you there are a lot of people who might have at previous times voted Conservative who now find that absolutely abhorrent.
But what's abhorrent? I mean, I've got the whole statement. She did like a 4-part tweet about this, and I've got it all in front of me now. And I read this, and I don't see anything in there.
To say being homeless is a lifestyle choice is deeply,
well, she says we cannot allow our streets to be taken over by rows of tents occupied by people. Many of them are from abroad, living on the streets as a lifestyle choice. Do you think there are any people in this country who do make a lifestyle choice to live on the street?
No, I don't. But what she's saying...
But I think you're completely wrong. I'll give you an example. In 2000, I think it was about 2018 in Hull, they had to issue a statement because there was people sleeping out rough. The council had to come out and make a statement and say there is no need for anybody to be sleeping in the city on the streets. We have hostel beds available for you. We have extra beds when it's freezing cold made available for you. There is no reason. There are some people in society, for a variety of different reasons, that proactively make the choice to disconnect from society and, by choice, live on the streets. I'm astonished that you don't see that.
OK, maybe there are, but then they will be very, very small number.
So you do concede that there are some?
The way she says it, that she's putting everybody in a box.
No, she distinguishes between those who are forced into it.
I wonder if she's ever actually spoken to anybody on the street or anybody in a homeless shelter or anybody who's sat outside in the pouring rain. I mean, I wonder what research there is in the Home Office that she's conducted or authorised to find out how many people... You know, she's only got to walk out of the office in Storey's Gate and go down Victoria Street. You know, you could do a random poll and ask all the people there who are sleeping out tonight.
Is there anything good that you think Suella Braverman's done?
No.
But you see, I think that is very bizarre, because I think there's too many people like yourself that just would almost just hate Suella Braverman. So no matter what she comes out with, she could come out with the most wonderful, blissful thing, and you would still hate it because it's from Suella Braverman.
Well, because her past record leads me to have an opinion, which is that she is absolutely unkind, vicious, spiteful. She's only interested in getting headlines. She bypasses Parliament. She makes comments and makes up policy on the hoof at conferences that are nothing to do with the Conservative Party or Parliament. And she's failed on everything that she's done other than to get headlines.
I think Suella Braverman is trying to put some very serious issues which are brushed under the carpet by parliamentarians, put some very serious issues on the table so that they are honestly debated and we start having a discussion in this country, for example, about issues like multiculturalism, which isn't working. And we can see that being played out through these pro-Palestine, pro-Hamas, effectively.
They're not
marches.
pro-Hamas.
They are pro-Hamas.
No, they're not.
When you have mainstream... when you have marches, forgive me, being supported by mainstream opposition leaders, the Mayor of London insisting on a ceasefire from Israel, what they're saying is that we are going to deny Israel the right to defend itself, and that is implicitly supporting Hamas. And we've got that in our country.
Well, you could flip that the other way by saying, by supporting Israel's right to defend itself, are we therefore saying, as a nation, that we support Israel's right? 10,000 people have been killed. 10,000 Palestinians have been killed in the last month.
And that's tragic.
That's
that is
more
awful
than the whole of the Ukraine war, which has been going for over 18 months.
Well, again, opinions are divided. But look, we got there in the end. We all now concede that there are some people living on the streets by choice in this country. So what do you do about it then? What is the answer? I'll throw it open to you guys at home, GBViews at gbnews.com.